started thinking like the colonists to know the true our leader. Started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our leader. Started dropping.
So this one here says she doesn't have to give me any kind of information. That all she has to do is say her name. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. I don't have a name.
You don't have a name.
Christians have names. I am a Moor.
Okay.
Moors have titles.
You have a title that you're called by then.
Let me say this. Let me say this, ma'am. The only one supposed to identify themselves is the person who has my child. And there's rules and law. You gave an oath to secure my inalienable, unalienable constitutional rights. You can play the police authority game with you if you want to.
I'm not playing the authority game. I'm asking you some questions.
And I'm letting you know, where's your delegation of authority order from Congress, certifiable and in writing on the public record? Where's your affidavit of fact?
Sir,
Where's your affidavit of fact?
My affidavit, how about my oath of office? It's probably on file with the county. I'm not sure where it's filed at.
Okay, so you're letting me know you're a party to this to piracy, and you're kidnapping my child, human trafficking.
No, we're bringing your child back to you, and we're trying to.
I've been seeing European children walking around here all day. No one's picked them up. They said my child has not breached the peace at all, but they picked them up. So I'm letting you know. Yeah, you are useless. I have the right to speak. It's a beautiful thing to know the law. It really is. And I know that you're outside of law because you're acting outside of constitutional fold of government. And then we can talk about international law violations. See, before I've been kind where I always drop it and I leave it alone. But now that's piracy, human trafficking, treason, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of a nationality nor the right to change one. My child is not Negro, black, or colored, and so he is not under color of law. Your little 1724 Christian black codes, baby. I understand it very well. That's where your policies come from.
Why do you keep bringing up the color thing? Because we don't care.
That's color of law. That's how you enforce color of law. White male, black male. That's how you enforce your law. Yeah. You never describe the national descent of a people, because if you have to put down a national descent, you have to tell who you are. And all of you're American, right? You're American?
I am an American, yes.
You're American. You're not even a naturalized citizen, lady. You come from Europe. You're not American. American is a geographic landmass, north, central, and south, and adjoining islands. You people came here in 1492 and thus after. Where's your green card? Who gave you naturalization rights here in my land? I'm asking you. What nationality are you? What nation's flag, what country's flag do you come with? What country's flag are you here with? You're supposed to answer these questions. You know that, right? You have no other option.
So are you.
You have no other option.
What gives you more authority than us? What gives you more authority than us?
My nationality is recognized at the United Nations. It's on the public record, proclaimed. I'm not a 14th Amendment corporate person. I'm not a 15th.
That we'd like to get home to his parents. That's what this is
You're
about.
kidnapping my child and you refuse to identify yourself. You're covering up your name tag, ain't you? I already got it. Yeah, there you go.
My name tag, there you go.
I know. I'm letting you know, but I knew what you were doing, though. Pretty smart, though.
I'm scanning.
Yeah, but the first you covered the name tag.
Yeah.
And you, sir, look at all these people who are in this. This is funny. I have the right to walk wherever I want. You know.
Hey, don't get too close to me.
You can't tell me that you have my child.
No,
you can't touch me.
You're not going to step up.
I'm letting you know right now, you don't have the right to do anything to me. I do not consent to your private corporate law. That's my child. And you have not properly identified yourself in law, and you know you haven't. That's why you're looking fearful. You have not properly identified yourself in law.
There is no fearful here.
Okay, you have my child. You can say what you want to say all you want to. You can, once you touch me, I'm going to own your ass. That's my child. I already got you for that. You can get all puffy if you want to. I got each one of you.
Okay.
Yeah. I got each one of you. I got every last one of you.
We're done here.
No, when you're done here, what? Interrogating my child like the Inquisition? That's my child. That's my child. You have not. You can't tell me what to do, man. You can't tell me what to do, and you know it. You know that's my child. You have. You want to harm me. I know you want to touch me.
Okay, you guys come behind back.
Yeah.
I'm not going to touch you like that. That's my child you got. And so, conspiracy, and kidnapping. You got to know the law. I'm trying to help you here. But, I appreciate your resolve for standing your ground. My child is not a ward of the state. Your corporate state. So you just admitted you kidnapped my child. Thank you. You have no right. You have not identified yourself properly in law. None of you all. You didn't identify yourself.
Are we done? All right, we're done. See ya.
No, I will see you. Before I let you slide, but I'm not now.
Very good.
Very good. Kidnapping. Look at, wow. Look at all these colonizers kidnapping. You're losing your power all over the planet. American. Not American. Make sure I get all of this information here. Wow. Look at another one. Oh, wow. Let me get you two. Yeah. Got you two.
And we have here with us Fonteas L. Where exactly were you when everything transpired? And let's start specifically with the name of the county.
Honestly, I was in Bonneville County, and a correction, it wasn't Utah. Even though they try to make the street signs sound like they are in Utah, they try to mimic. It actually is Idaho territories, and that's where it started, Bonneville County. And Bonneville is honestly, Bonneville would describe a large plantation that in ancient times would have belonged to a Moor, especially in those cases between Utah over to Idaho or salt flats, and all of that land belonged to a Moor. That was his plantation. That's what it describes. And, you go further, you're talking about the name Moor, like Moor man. Everywhere you go in Idaho and in Utah, you're going to see a Masonic temple every 5 feet, and they all are built. Their temples are built much different than most temples you see, but they are built in the Moorish style, definitely more than like maybe what you might find in the Byzantine Empire. And so when you start to research and you start to learn, especially you can go on YouTube right now. There's a story about there's an old cartoon that Mormons used to put out. And they tell how they're sitting up in heaven, and Lucifer is sitting in heaven with the man they call Jesus, and they're discussing things, and Lucifer is actually trying to defend the people on earth and saying they should be taught the same thing that everyone else should be taught that we know up here, and so because of that he was cast out, and it says that whoever was with him was branded black, and that's where they get they have to place the black brand on us in order to steal our property and our legacy.
Is that the people want to know how exactly did it happen? What transpired? Was your son walking down the street and they just picked him up, or what happened?
I'll tell you like this. It was a retaliatory action. I won't go into detail. My son did not violate anybody, but it was a retaliatory action because of all of the times that they could not arrest me. When it came to, you got to understand, this was a build-up. When they came to get me, when they came over, my wife usually was lacking knowledge, and so she always would side with them in how she would speak. She would say, "They're not doing what you think they're doing." I said, "Yes, they are. You're just not paying attention." And so, she would always defend them. But this particular day, when they came to the house with my son in the back seat, I was kind of like, "Whoa, why is my son in the back seat?" And they said, "Well, the man jumped out of the car," and he said, "Oh, it's not a big deal. We got him." And, and I'm going to tell you exactly what transpired. When the man came out, when the police, I don't know his name exactly, when the police came out, he said, "Oh, we got your son, man. He wasn't doing anything wrong." We just saw him walking down the street, and he was at a hotel. And they said, well, so we picked him up over there. Some people were concerned about him. That's not what happened, because they all are related, and they all are trying to create incidents that they can get to my son or divide my family. And he said, well, all I'm gonna need is for you to give me a little information about yourself. So just give me your name. And I said, well, I don't have a name. I said, I have a title, so I can give you that. And he said, well, give me that information. That's all I need, because they already knew who I was. They always, trust me, they did. I wrote them all the time, and I made sure their faxes received so much paperwork. I guarantee you, I made sure it ran out of ink. And so they knew exactly who I was, because they're all related. And I don't care where you live, where the government operated, they're mostly all related. They colonized the area, and it ain't that many Europeans here. Okay, I'm sitting there, and I'm talking to him. I give him what he asked for. I did give him the information he asked for just to see. And he said, I said, well, okay, then I wait for my son to come on. He said, and I said, oh, yeah, by the way, I said, I know, you can't get out unless you unlock the door. So I told him, unless you open the door from the outside. And he said, I'm not going to do that. He's like, I got you now. I got you now. He said, I need your identification. He was just saying that so he can arrest me or take me in and book me for all things prior. Because everything prior, whenever they would ask for identification, remember, I didn't have any. I deadened it, by reserving my rights. When the letter I just read for you, they said they dead that identification, what they call identification. I said, identification now. I said, identification in law is sameness. Like Popeye says, I am that I am, even though he's trying to steal my Moorish birthright. And I said, I am that I am. And he said, I'm going to ask you one more time. I said, you don't ask me anything, servant. I tell you what to do. I'm making a demand to you. He said, are you serious? I said, I'm serious as a heart attack. That's my blood there in the car. I said, you better learn what eusanguinous means. He said, what does that mean? I said, that means the law of blood. I said, you better pick up a book sometimes, you ignoramus. And he was like, whoa. He said, you're serious? I said, yes, I am. I said, I have the right to secure myself against you because you have my son and you need to release him. He said, well, I'm not going to give you anything. CPS will come and take your child from you. I said, CPS will not be touching my son here today. I said, because he belongs to me. He is my son. And I said, that's what I mean, and I'll never veer from that. He said, you're serious, huh? And I said, I'm very serious. I kept coming towards him. He backed off he kept on walking until he backed off the lawn completely. He said, I'm calling back up, and I'll tell you what I said. I said, I don't care if you call your mother. I really don't care. You call whoever you wish to call. You're violating me. You're violating my constitutional rights, and you're doing it colorably. You're doing it under color of authority and color of official right. I said, that's a semblance and appearance of law, but you have absolutely no right whatsoever. I said, the law begins with me and ends with me. You better get it right. And so all of a sudden, more and more people start coming. You may not see in the video, but there's police. There's so many people think there's 5 police there. There's a lot of police, and they're all down on all sides of the roads, and people are leaving the house. People are leaving the houses more and more. They're starting to leave their homes just in case something happens, just in case the police start shooting me. And I said, I know you may want to kill me, because that's what they were there for in the first place, because they were angry of all of the times I stood up against them, and they had to find something against me, no different than they send that skinhead out to the house. There was a time where they wanted to injure me with my ground every time. And I said, I'm not backing down. More and more people came. More and more people were leaving the home, and more police, so-called officers were coming. When you see me talking to them, they knew who I was. That's why when the lady walks up and I said, and I said it on purpose, because every time before I asked them for their oath of office, they acted as though they didn't know. But when you look up what oath of office means, it is an affidavit of fact. It is an affidavit of the fact of a particular thing that you're standing on, a sworn oath. And so that's also their oath of office. And so I said, I said, let me have your affidavit of fact, because I did it as a reversal of mind play. Because whenever I asked them before, they would say, shut up about that. And this time, this lady fell for it and spit it out to correct me. Because remember, they're arrogant. Like we're arrogant, they're arrogant too. So she spit it out to correct me, and she said, you mean my oath of office? She didn't even know where it was listed, but I'd asked them for this many a times, and they would send people over to tell me to shut up about that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get that bond from you, even if I have to hire a private investigator. You can hide it if you want to. I bet you I'll get it from you. I just said these things just to taunt them, not as an agitation but along the lines of this is a mental warfare, and you had better fight them from a military standpoint intelligently. Everything is not physical. Much of this is a mental warfare. They have us in servitude mentally. And if you don't know how to stand up to them and they don't feel the spirit that you mean what you say and say what you mean and you're willing to back it with knowledge, they will move forward. They were not out there moving forward because they knew, they had me. They were stuck and they didn't know what else to do. They came out there to get one of their men who was going to be the hero, and I got him. And I'm going to arrest him for everything he did, even though they all were told not to ever even look in my direction. Because before that, whenever I ride down the street, they'll turn their head to the side and act like I didn't exist because they were told not to touch me. Bottom line, whenever they had dealings with me, they'll take me in a private room every single time. They would speak to me privately, and they would either tell me, hey, man, you can't be giving away our secrets like that. And I said, well, they're not your secrets. They belong to me. I said, they never were yours from the beginning. You're no part of Moor. Well, you got a little more in you, just a little bit, but not enough to make you a noble. I said, I am of the noble class, and I came to carry myself that way. I said, this says Bonneville County. These are the dominions of Moors, and I came to reclaim them. And I said, so whatever you choose to do to me, you've already been doing. Whatever you think you're going to do to me now, hey, I'm willing to accept those consequences. I repeat this again. I'm willing to accept these consequences, whether they be positive or whether they be something that we may not like or whether it be something we accept. Men accept the consequences of their actions. Women accept the consequences of their actions when they're standing nobly. If you're not standing nobly and you're standing cowardly, they'll keep on coming at you because they know you're not confident with what it is you're speaking about. I spoke to them like they were public servants because that's what they are. And I reminded them of that on every front to the point they'll tell me, you're rude. I am not a servant. I said, you are a servant to I and we the people. Do not forget that. And I came here, if you forget it, I will remind you of it. I said, every writ that I send you is a reminder of your obligations to me, like Todd said, your obligations to me. Sometimes I may sound like Todd in my verbiage. I sure hope I do. I hope I mimic him to the point I'm a copy machine because he understands exactly what he's talking about. The brother is on point, and I have absolute love and respect for him, and I have absolute love and respect for Noble Drew Ali, definitely, because he brought us something of substantive nature that's essential to the people in the beginning. Because if you don't have this, you don't have anything. They already stripped us of our nationality and our birthrights. What else are you going to have but stand up for yourself? Because if you don't stand up for yourself, no one's going to do that sacred geometry for you standing on that square. You have to be the one to do it. And so out there, more and more were coming. You have police that knew the Constitution. I was out there talking to them. I'll say, hey, have you passed out any bills of attainder today? You out here trying to separate my family from me with a colorable association or colorable agency called CPS, who never was issued, was never authorized to even exist. I said, so why don't you go and do something honorable? I said, are you out here trying to divide my family into your problem? And I told him, I said, why don't you go do something meaningful and something that would, I said, what's your family name? They'll tell me. I said, well, right now your family must be very ashamed of you because you're not carrying yourself with honor and dignity. And so I said, unless, they too do not keep contracts. And I'll say, oh, wow, my bad, I'm wrong. Your family never keeps contracts because they don't understand what treaties are and contractual obligations. They never keep contractual obligations. And they'll say, I'm honorable. I said, I don't see how. Did you not give an oath to secure my constitutional rights? And they'll say, yes, I did. But I also gave an oath to the state of. I said, the state of, a subsidiary administrative corporation, has nothing to do with the lawful is your government and the true oath that you have given. I said, I'll stand here and tell you to your face. And then the lady, one of the ladies who's standing in the street who asked me, do I have a job? She'd asked me that several times. I said, a job? What would I need a job for? This is my vast estate. This is my vast estate. I'll stop. I'll let Sister Anna Eid address it if you'll allow her to, what I meant by vast estate. And then I'll go and finish from there if I can. I'll do it for.
That's yes, Anna Eid. Y'all got a lot of questions, but yes, please elaborate on what he's speaking on as far as the vast estate.
I'm sorry, as far as what?
As far as the vast estate that he just mentioned.
Well, the vast estate is, it's actually what's called Northwest Amexem. Northwest Amexem is North America, South America, Central America, as well as the Atlantis Islands. Now, the Atlantis Islands is all of the islands in what is today called the Caribbean islands. So all of that, from one end of one tip all the way up to the top through to Canada, that is all the vast estate of the Moors of Northwest Amexem.
Mm-hmm. And then another thing, too, for people who are looking, because some people may be hearing this for the very, very, very first time, what would you advise them to start studying so that they can see how there's been a great game to pretty much put the veil over their eyes so that they would never really truly have knowledge of self?
And I want to just add something. Because Fontaine mentioned our Muskego brothers and sisters, and I just want you to elaborate and let the people know who those brothers and sisters exactly are.
I'm sorry, you were asking.
You want me to put that? Okay, Islam. What I mean by mestizos, when the European came here, him raping the women, what they claim or call the black Indian, are what creates, along with what they call Mongoloid, but are actually the Manchurian people. They're mixing, creating the mestizos. And it depends on, the mix can change, it can vary, but these are what the mestizos, what we call modern day terms, Mexicans. That's why I mentioned that, because, I have a great deal of respect for a lot of my mestizo brothers and sisters and many of the people in South America, because they're willing to stand when we didn't have the knowledge to stand. When we're thinking, like back in the 80s when Stevie Wonder and different artists talking about they weren't going to play Sun City, they were talking about apartheid in South Africa, we weren't even knowledgeable to the fact that apartheid was happening to us. But the mestizos knew of it, and they were standing on their square from start to finish. Like Che Guevara, he's standing up. He was standing up trying to teach the people about Viva la More. The Moor, they're telling the people that we are Moors, and so they were trying to teach us our history of our vast estate and that we are one. There are many people that mestizo that grow up here, and they too become indoctrinated in the ignorance of the social system of supremacy that the European puts in place, and they lose their way. But a lot of them understand very well and are very down brothers and sisters, and who are willing to stand, and just want just as much. They want equality as well, like during the French Revolution when the French were asking for liberty, equality, and fraternity. That's the same thing we want.
Right. I hear you on that.
So, definitely.
I hear you on that. And for everybody that's listening, if you're on the chat or online, you can call in direct at 858-357-8450. And I see that we do have a lot of people that are on the physical line, that they're listening. And if you have any comments, if you want any clarity on what was discussed, press option 1 and you'll be placed in a host queue.